So I just want to, like, if I can prevent anyone from feeling this way and not getting to this point, that's why we do these videos. Welcome to another episode of the Mareathon. My name's Mare. Life's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I would love it if you laced up and subscribed to my YouTube channel today. There's a link below. There's also a link in the info bar to join the Mareathoner Facebook group. Today I'm going to address something that I get asked all the time and I've never talked about. Today is June 7th, which the day after tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of my husband, Jeremy, committing suicide. The last few weeks have been really difficult leading up to this Saturday. I'm off work this week. And as I'm filming this, I'm gonna head to therapy in an hour. I get a lot of questions and have for the last year and even prior to that, because Jeremy was open about his struggles with mental health and anxiety and depression, and I get a lot of DMs and a lot of messages from people asking me. It's just heartbreaking, like heartbreaking stories. You know, I get messages of people saying like, Mare, my whatever, relation, friend, husband, whomever, is suicidal, what do I do? Or someone I know has anxiety and depression, what do I do? And what are the triggers? Did you know Jeremy was gonna kill himself? What signs happened? Did anything happen? Did you miss something in hindsight? Do you feel guilty? Do you feel like it's your fault? Do you feel like had you known this you could have stopped him? What would you have done differently? What can I do differently so that I don't have the same thing happen to me? Like, these are all the questions that I get all the time. So first of all, if you are going through this, you're not alone, and holy hell, I feel for you, because it is horrific. And I'm talking about like pre him killing himself. I'm not even talking about post. It's so hard to support someone who is suicidal. And Jeremy was for a very long time. On and off, like it wasn't all the time, but it was a long time. So here's the thing. I did everything that was like humanly possible to help Jeremy. And like, if you've been a viewer of this channel, you know, like, we were in marriage counseling for years. He was in therapy, I was in therapy. He was on meds, I tried meds. He did yoga, like, we went vegan. I created a company so we could both quit our jobs, and still. And so when people would ask me for advice, my response was always like, I'm not a good person to ask because I did everything I could and still failed. And it's only in the last, like, this week, basically, that I'm starting to feel like I didn't fail. And I'm still learning this and still accepting this. But it is nobody's job to keep somebody else alive. So, like, my happiness and my well-being is my responsibility and nobody else's. And it was Jeremy's responsibility and nobody else's. And he worked really damn hard, but I took it on as my role, and I can tell from so many of your messages that you're doing the same thing. Like, when you're asking me, like, what triggers do I look for and how do I stop them? I did that for years, and it still made no difference. But what happened was I suffered greatly, and I'm still in therapy and working hard to recover. I would try to eliminate any trigger that I could, or if a trigger came up for Jeremy, I would instantly like take it on and try and fix it or diffuse the situation or let him like step away from it, and I would deal with it. And so then in turn, I took a lot of it and did not look out for myself and did not take care of myself. And that's not okay. There's always going to be triggers and you can't stop them, and it's not your job to stop them. Your job is to take care of yourself. I didn't, and now I am, and now I'm like fiercely trying to show you that you need to as well. I lost myself and hurt myself, and I'm still suffering the consequences. If someone is suicidal, they're suicidal. I had the number of the community crisis response team speed dial on my phone for like 2 years, ready to call, because I felt at any moment I would need help. But I truly believe if someone is at a place where they're ready to take their life, there's nothing you can do. There had been other times where he obviously wasn't ready to do it, or he wasn't actually going to because he told me or he told someone else or he reached out. And he had been reaching out for sure, like all the way up to his death. So another note would be, when someone reaches out to you, hear them and do what you can, but it is not your responsibility to take that on. Just like, you know, it's not anybody's fault that Jeremy killed himself. Not his doctor, his therapist, the intake therapist who saw him, me, his family, his friends, anyone who talked to him at any point. It's nobody's fault, and it's not your job. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you, is like, you can only do so much and you need to take care of yourself. And I know that so many of you aren't taking care of yourselves, because I've heard from you and because I was the same. So to answer your question, what are the triggers? Could I have done something differently? I could have probably done, you know, many things differently, but I was like, you know, people were starting to say to me, like, you're weeks away from a nervous breakdown. Like, you need to stop taking this on. I was always walking on eggshells and cried in the car a lot because I never wanted him to see me. I just wouldn't tell him stuff because I didn't want to upset him. And so then you end up taking all of that on. I am sure this is very rambly and confusing for some of you, but to those of you who this hits home for, I hope that you hear me when I say, like, please take care of yourself. And if you're struggling with mental health stuff, talk to someone and tell someone and like get support and get help and take care of yourself, but don't expect anyone else to fix it for you or take it all on for you. Like, you are no one's responsibility, unless it's like you're a young child. Like, Thomas's well-being is 100% my responsibility, like 110%, and I take that on because he's 7. When someone passes away from suicide, I feel like there's a lot of guilt and blame, so it's really difficult. I even got a message from someone saying that their kids are worried that someone in their life could hurt themselves, and like, you need to make sure your kids know that it's not their responsibility to make sure that that person doesn't hurt themselves, and that if they do, it's not their fault. You can help a person and you can support them and you can be there for them, but it's not your job to take it all on. Okay, well, that's another topic that we've never talked about. So for all of you who have messaged me that question, I know this is not the answer that you were hoping for. I know that this is not what you were wanting. You were wanting me to be like X, Y, and Z, do this. I wish I had done this. Like right after Jeremy died, there was this really hurtful, so hurtful article about how a family should know the warning signs and you should like take training so you can better be equipped if someone in your life is suicidal. Yeah, like know what things are, but I felt blamed and like I should have known better and I should have done more, and that had I just like done some more research or training, Jeremy would still be here, and that's really shitty because I did a lot. More than anybody. I feel like this is gonna be the most like disheartening, disappointing like video, but I just want to protect you from not taking care of yourself like me. That is the whole purpose of me talking about this. I want to protect you so that you don't make the same mistakes I did. I want to protect you so that this doesn't happen and you don't end up feeling this way. I hope that you can understand that and that it makes sense, that it is not your fault. It is not my fault. And I still deal with that. Obviously, that's still something that is like so hard. You know, like when I worked so hard for so long to help him and he still took his life, is really difficult. So I just want to like, if I can prevent anyone from feeling this way and not getting to this point, that's why we do these videos. That's why we talk about these things. So I think that's it for today. At some point we'll go back to just talking about like easy breezy beautiful things. I promise. I have trips planned this summer. Stick with me. These aren't all gonna be like grief videos, but these are really important things that you're asking about, that I'm learning, that nobody talks about. And like I said, if I can prevent just one of you from taking on all of this pain, then it's worth it. So thanks for watching. Please lace up and become a marathoner. Subscribe to my channel. Life's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And in this marathon, please take care of yourself. Please take care of yourself. My therapist, she said to me, your only homework is to ask yourself, what do I need? And I started crying and was like, I never ask that question. She was like, well, you better damn well start. So that's what I'm gonna leave you with today, and I will see you in the next one. What do you need today? Bye.